Okay, we're going to take a look on this third day of week 6 at your History California Studies. It's week number 27. It's very lavenderish looking, and it's entitled Other Governments. And we've talked about this before. Not all countries in the world have the same type of government as we do, right? Sometimes some of them are a little different, some of them are a lot different. So let's go ahead and read this. Ballot box. You know what a ballot box is? A ballot is a piece of paper you fill out when you're voting for someone. People who are, help me out, okay? Don't leave me. Okay. People who are in charge of leading a city, state, or country is called a government. Not all countries have the same type of government. There are many types of governments. For more than 200 years now, the United States has had the same type of government. Our type of government is called a democracy. A democracy. A democracy is a government run by the people. That means we have choices run by the people. We get to vote, we get to make choices, so on. We can express our dislike for something. We can express our opinion. The people of our country vote for the people they want in charge, and they vote for the laws that they want created. Is everyone going to agree? No. Usually it's down the middle a little bit. So on the inside you see this lovely lady. You might recognize her from the news or something, but that is Queen Elizabeth II, and she rules over England. It says another type of government is a monarchy. You say that? Am I spelling it right? Monarchy, yes. And that is run by one person, sorta. One person is in charge. She doesn't get voted in, she doesn't get voted out. She or he is also often called a king, and in this case, a queen. Because as it turns out, her brother was supposed to be the king, and he said, no thank you, I do not want that. So she automatically was next in line in the family, so they got a queen instead of a king. It says here, the person is often called the king, queen, emperor, or empress. In England, it's a king or queen. The person usually inherits, they get the position from another family member who either passes away or no longer can run the country. They've either died or, like her brother did, abdicated or said, I do not want this position. Okay? It asks you, have you heard of Queen Elizabeth II? You probably have. Queen Elizabeth II rules over England. She inherited the throne after her father died. She has been the Queen of England for more than 50 years. Someone from her family will be the next ruler. It will go to her son, and then from there to his son, and so on, unless it turns out to be a daughter, like what happened with her. Now, go down to the next square. It's very gray, and it's a very terrible form of government. Unfortunately, there is, as you know, evil in our world. There are evil people. This is an evil government. It says a dictatorship. A dictatorship is a type of government that is ruled by one person by force. Force. Nobody has a choice. The person in charge, he is called the dictator. He uses military force to make sure the people follow the laws created. Sometimes a dictator becomes in charge by overpowering the previous dictator. This sort of government you never want to happen in your country, right? Because he or she takes the country by force, and usually there's a lot that goes on in the country that takes freedom away from their citizens. Anarchy, that's an interesting word. Anarchy is a system of no government. There is absolutely no government. None. Ah, that sounds good, right? Well, in the perfect world, which someday we will have, it would be. But because people have sin in their lives, in their hearts, it's not a good system. Every person just takes care of themselves. They farm their own land, they find their own water, they build their own home. Often they'll fight each other over food, water, and homes. There are no police to help them. If somebody is robbing them, you see a picture there. If a person who lives where there is no government decides they want to have something that belongs to you, they just come in and take it. Nobody's going to stop them. Okay, everybody does what they want to do, and that's not necessarily a very good thing. So on the other page, you see another lady. This is Golda Meir. She was a woman who made a big difference. She was born in 1898 in Russia. So if you take 2020 minus 1898, let's see what you get. Oh, we gotta borrow. You get 122 years ago. The part of Russia she was born in is now called Ukraine. Her family was Jewish, and people were not treating the Jewish people well at all. In 1906, because of that, her family moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the United States. Golda was only 8 years old. Her parents wanted a better life for her and her siblings. So you can see the little state of Wisconsin, what she looked like when she was a little girl at 8 years old, perhaps when her family moved from Russia or Ukraine, Russia over here to the United States for safety and for a better life. But look at the bottom. As Golda got older, she started to dream of a country where Jewish people could live safely. She immigrated, we know what that is. She immigrated with her husband back, but she went to Palestine. You would know that as the Israel area. Golda started to work in the government to help create a country for Jewish people. The country she helped build now is known as Israel. In 1948, she was one of 24 people who signed an agreement for Israel to become its own country. Golda helped raise money to help people immigrate to Israel. Golda held many different positions in Israel's government. She helped people work together to make the country successful. Golda Meir died in 1978 at 80 years old. So talk about somebody who makes a big difference. One woman, right? Any one person can make a big difference for great, for good, or for bad. So it's in our power, it's in our choice. Now, on the back side, it asks you to match the dates with the important events from Golda Meir's life. Remember, it is a timeline, so think of the order of years. So we're going to have to look back to be able to find these answers, okay? Hopefully that's dry enough. We'll see. So it says here, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So I've got my 5 boxes. I almost have my 5 boxes. All right, we've got 5 boxes. And so we are going to put the date in each box that this happened. So the first thing that happens is Meir was born in Russia. So right underneath that you see a dot and you see a line with many a dot, right? Yes, one under each box. And then it has words. I won't copy all the words, but you see them, right? They have words, words, la 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 la, words. Okay, so we want to know, when was she born? Well, unless you have a photographic memory, you might want to look back. And up at the top of this page 3, do you see where it says she was born in 1898? So a timeline goes from your birth to your death if you are no longer alive. 1898. She was born, right? Next event, go ahead and read that with me. Maier and her family moved to the United States. So you go back to the article, you look and see where is another year. Here's another year. In 1906, her family moved to Milwaukee. 1906. So they moved to the USA, right? Okay. Thirdly, Maier and her husband immigrated. They went back. They went to Palestine, which we now call Israel. When did they go to Palestine, she and her husband? Do you see another year? I see a year there. Let's make sure. She immigrated with her husband to Palestine. She started to work for the government. Country she helped build is now known as Israel. In 1948, she was one. Does it tell us exactly the year? Maier and her husband immigrated to Palestine. Let's look again. That's when her family moved, when she got older, but we don't know how old. Jewish people. She immigrated with her husband to Palestine to work in the government to help. Well, it doesn't tell us what year she and her husband went back to Palestine. If you can see it, tell me. I don't see it. She said she was older. So let's decide how old we want to make her. So in 1906, she was 8 years old. So why don't we make her, well, she has to be old enough to be married. Why don't we make her 25? So what is 25 plus 8? 33. So if she was born in 1898, what is 33 years? 1898 plus, now she's 33, 11, 13. Let's say it is 1931. We are going to pretend 1931 she went to Palestine. You already have the words there. Let's just say, because they didn't tell us. If you see it, you write it, but I don't see it. Okay, so the fourth one says, Maier signed for Israel to become its own country. Do you see become its own country right there? Back up. In 1948, she was one of 24 people. 1948. I wasn't alive yet, believe it or not. That's when she signed for Israel to become its own country. That's a big deal. Israel became its own country. Throughout the Bible, this has been the plight of the Israelis, the Israelite people. You know, you've studied Moses, Egypt. They just were back and forth, and took a while for them to get settled into their own country. They were scattered. And then she died. And that is the last date you see in 1978. I was born by then. And I wasn't a child either. Okay. Oh, there's the years down there. Oh my goodness, there's a word bank. Let's see what we got. 1898, 1906. What would come next? 1921. Hey, we missed it by 10 years. She was a young thing. Wow. Okay, so that should be 1921. Have you been screaming at me? Mrs. Sadler, there's a word bank. Okay, 1921, then 1948, then 1970. I was like, I absolutely did not even see that. Okay, so, wow. So she was 21, 20. She was young. No, not even 20. If she was born in 1898 and she was married and went to Palestine, let's see how old she was. 8 take away 1 is 7. 9 take away 2 is... She was not 100. What am I doing wrong? Oh, 1921. Sorry, it's late in the day and I'm tired. You take the year that she left, take away when she was born. I knew that. 1 take away 1 is 0. 2 take away 9. Can't do it. 12 take away 9. Ah, she was actually 30. Yeah. So she wasn't that young. She was actually 30 years old when she was married and went back to Palestine. I would tape this whole thing over again, but I don't want to. So, you see me make mistakes. I see you make mistakes. All God's children make mistakes, so we just won't worry about that, okay? Because my math was a little bit off. So if you want to know how old somebody was, you take the year something happened, like the year they died, take away the year they were born, and the answer would be 80 in this case, since she was 80 years old when she passed away. Okay, go down to the next part. It says, what type of government would you want to be the ruler of? So you can go back. Would you like to be the ruler of a democracy, like what we have in the United States? Would you rather rule a monarchy, where it's ruled by one person, but the person inherits as being king or queen, and they have parliament and they have a lot of other people in government with them? It's different than a dictatorship. The dictatorship is one person in charge. What that person says goes. Nobody can argue or else. Okay? And then the anarchy is whatever you want to do, just do it. Okay? And so you decide which type of government that you would want to be the ruler of, and then explain why. Okay? And then you draw a picture of yourself as the ruler of that country. You could either be wearing a suit, or a, if you're a girl, you might be wearing a beautiful gown, or you might be wearing sweats, a crown, you know. Of course, in the United States, nobody in our government wears a crown, right? But in Britain, where you see Queen Elizabeth, they do have some crowns that they wear for special occasions. So you decide the rest of that, what type of government. Again, like I asked yesterday, if you want to send me a picture of that, that'd be great. I didn't get any pictures of yesterday, but if you want to send me a picture of your drawing and what you wrote, I would love to read it, okay? All right, so I'm going to go take a nap because I think my brain is tired. So I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? God bless.